Hello and welcome to No Limits Health and Wellness. My name is Graeme and with me is my best friend Oscar. We have another themed express yoga class for you today. Today's theme is happy, healthy hips. So I've put together some fun vinyasas and some specific drills to help us invite in some space into these joints and the surrounding areas, as well as build strength and awareness and control. We're going to begin on our backs in Savasana, corpse pose. So take your time landing in your pose. Take your time to ground as you get out of your head, come into your body, out of the brain, and into the heart. And while you're making yourself comfortable and landing in the here and now, I want to share a quote with you, and it's something that's been on the forefront of my mind since I woke up today, just asking to be shared. It's a quote from Charlie Chaplin, a man who's famous for being silent, which kind of baffles my mind because he has had some very profound and enlightening things to say throughout his lifetime. One of which was this, and it is, life is a tragedy in close-up and a comedy in long shot. So in your corpse pose, as you prepare for this experience, you can consider the last worries, concerns, and illusions of suffering. And you can zoom right in on them to see the tragedy that they are. And then gradually pull your perspective back. Outside of the room, as you draw back, outside of the environment, outside of the atmosphere, zooming out further and further, deeper into space, where you get a new perspective of the earth, the sun that it's orbiting, and the almost incomprehensible vastness of space that our sun, that star, is flying through. Take into consideration, you don't know what created that star, what created this planet, what created the space that it's all existing in. And then you can zoom back into your problem, your worries and your concerns, your tragedies. And like me, you may be chuckling as you return to see how small and insignificant they are when you realize the miracle that we're experiencing. When you realize where we are, what we are, and how lucky we are to be. Bring your left hand to your heart, and your right hand to your belly. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in what serves you, and exhale anything else. Let my heart turn to practice. Let this practice become a path May this path dissolve confusion. May confusion turn to wisdom. Have a great practice. It's going to be a great practice. Flutter your eyes open and take a full body stretch. Reach your arms up over your head, point your toes, feel your low back lift up off of the mat. And then press the low back into the mat as you hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze. Give your left knee a kiss and your right knee a kiss. If for whatever reason you can't reach them, blow them a kiss to align with love and gratitude for this body and for this experience. Gently rock and roll forwards and back. We'll take a few rocks here just to enjoy a gentle self-massage along the full length of the spine. And ultimately cross your legs and rock yourself right up into a seat. Going to unravel those legs that are currently stacked like fire logs and bring ourselves into seated butterfly. So pressing the soles of your feet in towards one another. Pardon me, I may have to do some editing because I'm just going to stand up and make sure that my device is still recording me. Okay, never mind, not to worry. I was concerned that my phone had shut off and stopped recording. What a tragedy that would have been, right? So we're in seated butterfly. We're pressing the soles of our feet in towards one another and pulling the heels in towards the center line. And we're going to imagine that our legs are the wings of our butterfly, and we're just going to let them flutter out in our first pose here, allowing these movements to promote the flow of blood and energy into the hips and into the base of our energetic body. And you can use your hands to press down onto the knees, bringing them closer to the earth. And if you don't have a little puppy underneath your knees, you can rock from side to side, massaging out the muscles under those sits bones. So you rock onto one bum cheek and then the other. Okay. Let's straighten the legs out and we're going to lay onto our backs. We're going to do some hip circles here. So we'll start with the right leg. Now, option one is keeping the legs straight. And we just want to imagine that we're drawing some very big circles in space with our foot. So that's a demonstration of option one. And option two, if that feels crunchy or otherwise uncomfortable for you, you can be drawing those circles with the knee. So you bend the knee and move the hip around as much as you can. So what we're going to do is 3 rotations going clockwise. So we're going to make those circles as large as we can for 3. And then we're going to start those circles the other way for another 3. And taking your time to really explore the max range of motion in each direction. And after 3, right leg comes down, and we're going to do the same thing on the left. So left leg lifts up, and we start those circles going one way, clockwise or counterclockwise. You'll do the other one after. We get our 3 full rotations. And then we get 3 unrushed rotations going in the opposite direction. Okay, now let's hug our knees into our chest one more time. And we're going to set up now for frog pose on our back. Frog is a pose we're going to be doing later on in the practice, and we're just going to prepare our hips now by allowing gravity to work with us. So stack the knees up over your hips and keep the shins at about a 90-degree angle. And we're going to allow those knees to come down towards the earth, keeping them in alignment with the hips. And notice here, if your belly wants to lift up and create space in the low back, see if we can pull the belly down and press the low back into the mat. Keeping your awareness in the low back and in the hips. You're also where your hands are, feeling the insides of your knees. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're in every cell of your body. Your mind, your energy is here to support you now in this experience. A few more deep intentional breaths. Breathing into the low back to feel it expand and press into the mat. Breathing into the hips to invite space in, and exhaling, removing anything that's preventing you from moving into that space, that new energy. Let's slowly come back to center. Take your time. I'm going to hug our knees into our chest, rock and roll, cross your legs, and bring yourself into tabletop position. So bring your hands onto the mat, unravel your legs, and we're in a tabletop position here. We're going to go into fire hydrant pose. This one's a real hit when I do puppy yoga class, because I explained that we're basically mimicking a dog at a fire hydrant. So keep pressing into the left and right hand. Feel the floor with the right knee as you get light on the left knee. Lift it up as high as you can. Ultimately, you want to get in line with your shoulder and keep the shin parallel to the earth. Notice if it's dropping down or lifting too high, keep it nice and straight. Breathing into the spine, hugging the navel in for support. Last big inhale, and bring that right knee down. Bring the right, or that was the left knee. Now we're going to bring the right knee up, and we're doing fire hydrant on the other side. So pulling energy up through both hands, allowing it to flow through your body, grounding into that left knee. Last big inhale, and bring that right knee down. Here we're going to bring ourselves onto our bum and reposition yourself so that you're on your mat the same way I am. You're going to bring your feet a little more than hip width distance apart. A good rule of thumb is to have your heels on one edge of the mat and your bum on the other. And between your heels, you want to imagine the length of your shin. Okay, you should be able to put your shin there. And what we're going to be doing here is windshield wipers. So you can be leaning as far back or as far forward as you feel fits for your body as you bring the knees down to one side, maybe touching the floor, maybe not. And then over to the other. And we're going to go 5 times to each side. So 10 movements in total. And taking your time, you can be matching your breath to movement or having the windshield wipers at a slightly quicker or slower pace than your inhales or exhales, but keep the breath calm. Okay, I've lost count. But we're going to do one more on each side. And if you want to do any more, you can just hit the pause button and do these wipers until you feel full and complete. Okay, now we're going to bring ourselves back into the position that we were earlier in our tabletop. And now, I hope you have a water bottle. If you have a water bottle, grab that. If you don't have it with you, hit the pause button, go to the kitchen or wherever you keep your bottles, or better yet, you may have a block. We're going to do some hip cars. So it's controlled articulate rotations for the hips. So this block is going to be an obstacle, and we don't need it. If you don't have a block, if you don't have a water bottle, don't fret. You're still going to be fine, and you'll be able to do this move. And what we're going to do is very similar to the fire hydrant pose. We're going to bring ourselves into that fire hydrant pose with a different entry. So because I can't just go out to the side, I'm going to be bringing my knee back, up and over. So I'm now into that fire hydrant pose. And now I'm going to go around that obstacle. So bringing the knee up towards the front of the mat and right where we began. And now going in the opposite direction, I'm reversing that motion, going around that obstacle, finding that fire hydrant, and then back down. So that's one rotation. We've gone forward and back. We'll do that 3 times on this side. So going for number 2 here, lifting up, back, pulling up, around. Sorry, Oscar. Okay, this is the final one on the left side. Coming back. Okay, now for the right, we'll reposition the block onto the right side. And feeling the floor with both hands. Really feel the core pick up the slack when that right knee lifts up. We're so supported from the earth, from within, and from the energy around us as we attract more of what we are, more of our essence, more love, more peace, and more joy. I've lost count, but you can't do too many of these. This is going to be the last one, and we're coming back into our tabletop position. Blocks and water bottles, set them aside, and we're going to do adductor rocks. So extending the left leg out and keep that heel aligned with the hips. Toes, they'll point out towards the left. And when we do our camels or cows and cats, we want to keep our spine and our hips in that camel or cow formation. Okay, so belly dropped, tailbone pulling back and pointing up towards the sky. We're going to rock the bum towards the heels and come back up. Rocking back to feel that stretch and slightly easing out of it. One more here. And coming back to our tabletop and extending the right leg out, keeping the ankle in line with the hips. So pulling it up towards the front of the mat will do you more in the sense of stretching as opposed to keeping it further back. Remember to drop the belly, keep the tailbone drawing back and pointing up as we Pull the bum towards the heels. And just be here and now. There's no need to compare this to the other side. Try to think less and feel more. Okay, come back to our tabletop. And we're going to press back into down dog. Big stretch, Oscar. That was a big one. So this is our first down dog. You can take your time to settle into it if you want to pedal out the feet, bending the ankles and the knees. Come high onto your toes, bend your knees, walk to the front of the mat, take a halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain pose, reach all the way up, touch the sky, and fold. Take a halfway lift, and hands to the mat for high plank into low plank. Up dog as you pull your chest through, and down dog, push the floor away. Is everything okay there, buddy? On your next inhale, step your right foot forward for warrior one. The breath in will lift you up. We'll exhale into warrior two. Now, before we go any further, we're going to set up for half moon. So this is another good spot for a block or for a water bottle. I'm going to use my water bottle just to show you that it can be done. Because maybe you don't have a block and you're thinking, how am I going to do this? You're going to be fine. Let's flip our palms, reverse the warrior, and we're going to take a leap of faith into warrior three. So feel long from the crown of your head to your lifted heel. And from here, we're going to open the hips up. Now, I'm using the block because I did legs yesterday in my workout and my lower half is absolutely cooked. What we're going to do is from warrior three, open ourselves up into half moon. So the hips and the heart are open to the left side of the room. And from here, we're going to close the hips, squaring the hips and the heart back down to the earth, back into warrior three. We're going to open up once again into our half moon and come back into our warrior three. One more time, you've got this. And from here, we're going to bring ourselves into our warrior two. That's as spicy as it's going to get today. If you got through that, the rest is going to be smooth sailing. Let's flip the right palm up to the sky. We'll reverse the warrior. And from here, straighten that right leg. And we're going to bring ourselves into triangle. So arms parallel to the earth. Then reach the right hand forward until you can't go forward anymore. Come down to the floor, getting as long as we can in the left side of the body. Creating space from the razor edge of that left foot up to the left armpit. And space from that right hip crease into the right armpit as well. So you draw the hips back. Imagine the direction that you're looking to is pulling the hips towards them. And from behind, it's drawing your shoulder back. We'll look up to the top hand. Next inhale pulls you up to a stand, like a friend is grabbing that wrist. Turn your feet to face the left side. Hands on hips. Puff your chest up and fold forward. You can take your hands down to your ankles to give yourself some leverage to pull. Or maybe you want to try walking your hands right over to the left. Enjoying a stretch throughout the right side of the body. Maybe you feel a stretch deep into that left hamstring. Think less, feel more. At your pace, walk your hands back over and go to the right. That is, if you're exploring these side-to-side movements, maybe you're just surrendering in a forward fold, where we will all meet back in the center. Let's close our eyes. Bring your focus to the space between them and behind those eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And slowly come up to a stand, one vertebrae at a time. Turn your feet to face the front of the mat and step the back foot up to meet the right. Reach your hands up, fold forward. Take a halfway lift and hands to the mat for high plank to low. Get empty before up dog fills your lungs. Down dog, push the floor away. On your next inhale, step the left foot forward and feel that breath in lift you up. Ground with every exhale, creating space in the physical body and the mental body as we let go of anything in the way. Open up into Warrior Two. From here, we'll flip the left palm up to the sky, reach it up and back, and take a leap of faith into our Warrior Three. So pushing the floor away with that left foot, the right heel drives back, and you feel long from the fingertips to that lifted heel. I'm going to take my water bottle down here for support. We're going to open ourselves up into our half moon, shining the hips and the heart to the right side of the room. And then we're going to come back into our Warrior Three. Option to keep your hands on that support as you bring the floor closer to you. Opening up into half moon, shining the hips and the heart. Coming back into our Warrior Three. And one more time, we open up into our half moon. And from here, we're going to gracefully land back in our Warrior Two. We'll flip the left palm up to the sky, reverse your warrior, and straighten that left leg. Well, that was a big crack from my ankle. Bring the hands back down, and feel free to make those cricks and cracks, any noises. Well, you're by yourself probably, so I'm sure you feel comfortable to sigh or flutter out your lips. Just know that your energy is filling whatever room you're in, and you're worthy of it. And you're worthy of the airwaves as well. We'll reach the left hand forward and come down into our triangle, feeling the floor evenly with both feet. Draw the energy up through both legs into those hips and feel those hips pull to the wall that you're facing, creating that space in the low back. Pull the light up into the heart and shine it by drawing that top shoulder back. And look to the top hand and feel the breath in pull you up to a stand. We'll turn our feet to face the wall we're looking at. Puff the chest up and fold forward. And bind your fists behind your back and pull those bound fists to the direction you're folding to floss out the shoulders as you push the floor away with those heels. Feel the energy rise up the legs and then permit it to cascade down. Through your energetic body, it works its way into those shoulders before flowing down your neck, through your mind, and back down towards the earth. Deepest breath in, deepest breath out. Slowly come up to a stand, one vertebrae at a time, and turn your feet to face the front of the mat. Unbind your hands, step the right foot up, reach your hands up, and fold forward. Take a halfway lift, and hands to the mat, high plank to low, up dog, pull the shoulders back, and down dog. Push the floor away. Let's bring our feet together at the back of the mat. Lift the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, and stack open the hips. Keep pushing the floor away. Feel that right knee lift a little higher, and pull the heel towards your bum. Open the hips up as much as you can. From here, straighten that leg again. And remember those hip circles we did at the beginning of class? Let's close the hips and bring the right leg as high as we can and swing that leg around to the front of the mat and bring ourselves into Warrior One. So exhale into Warrior Two. We'll flip the palm, reverse your warrior, and take a leap of faith into Warrior Three. Just for a moment, and bring those left toes down to the mat. We're in high crescent lunge. From high crescent lunge, we're going to bring the left heel down and bring our arms parallel to the earth for our Warrior Two. From Warrior Two, we're into the left, into Surfers. From Surfers on the left, we're going to pull ourselves to Surfers on the right. And we're going to do that, just like I said, by pulling, not pushing with this leg. We're going to drive that right heel into the earth, engaging the hammies and the glutes to pull ourselves to the front of the mat. And we'll land here. Now, the next drill we're going to do is just moving from side to side. Use the inhales to create the lift, the exhales to create the space to dive down a little lower. And as we move forward and back, try to keep your bum as close to the mat as we can. So the first few may look like a rainbow as you lift up and come down. Gradually try to stay as low as we can. We're going to meet on Surfers on the right. We're going to pivot ourselves into High Lizard and step the right foot back. We're in Down Dog. Let's open our mouths, take a deep breath in through the nose, let it go. Feet together at the back of the mat. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and then stack open the hips. Press into that left hand if it wants to get light as the weight shifts. Pull energy up through both arms, through both shoulders. Feel them square and feel the spine lengthen. Feel the left knee lift and the hips shine. Last big inhale. We're going to then straighten that left leg and bring the hips back so that they're square facing down to the earth. And with these square hips, we're going to take the biggest hip circle as we bring that left leg around and forward to the front of the mat and step ourselves up for Warrior One. On your next exhale, open up into Warrior Two. We'll flip the left palm up to the sky, reverse your warrior, and take a leap of faith into our Warrior Three. Just for a couple of breaths, feeling long, strong, supported. And bring those right toes down to the floor for our high crescent lunge. And pivot that right heel down and open ourselves up into Warrior Two. As the arms become parallel to the earth, we'll dive into the right, into our Surfers. And from here, we're going to, as we did before, pull ourselves from one side to the other. So noticing if the bum really floats up high, away from the mat, And being fine with that, if that's the space that we need to move, but being aware, we're noticing if we can go a little bit lower, if there's some space that we can work ourselves into. We'll take a couple more here. Now, it doesn't matter which way you're going, just stop halfway there. And we're going to bring ourselves into goddess. No, not like a goddess, but like something else magical. I'm going to do some editing. Okay, so in goddess, now we can see each other. Having the feet pointing outwards, try to keep the ankles stacked underneath the knees and the knees in line with the hips as best as we can. And bring your hands behind your head. Keep the tailbone tucking down, and we're going to bring the left elbow to left knee and right elbow to right knee. I can't imagine that this is super duper easy peasy, but if you're bored, I'm not, but if you are, you can, come onto your toes and try that on. Don't go back down with my feet flat on the floor. And we'll take one more to each side. Whoa. Okay. And now, as gracefully as we can, we're going to bring ourselves down onto our bums. Oh, where are you going, Oscar? Are you going to come over here? Okay. And we're setting up for 90-90s. So I may need to reposition myself on my mat since I have a new mat buddy here. No, I'll be fine. So bring your right shin parallel to the front of the mat and your left shin parallel to the left side of the mat. First thing that we're going to be doing in this 90-90 variation, and you can see why it's called 90-90. Both of our legs are set up in 90 degrees. What we're going to do is face the direction that our right shin is parallel to, and we're going to keep the chest lifted. We may lean forward a little bit to create that space in the glutes. We're going to press the left knee into the floor and lift the heel up. Okay, maybe the inhale creates the lift. We're going to go for 5. Okay, and now after 5, lifting the heel, we're going to do the same thing, but with the knee. So driving the heel into the floor, we're lifting that left knee up. You may find that you have much more space this way. That's usually the case. So we're going to go for 5 on this side to make it nice, even, and balanced. And as we lift up for the 5th one, we're going to go as far as we can. And once we can't go any further, we're going to allow this right knee to follow as we transition into 90-90 at the back of the mat. Now our left shin is parallel to the back and our right shin is parallel. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I know that Oscar is going to be in the way for the next drill. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So left shin is parallel to the front. Right shin is parallel to the back. Again, you can lean forward. You can have your hands on the floor, maybe framing your left thigh or in front of the shin. And I should have mentioned this the other time. As we lift the right heel up, it may only come an inch off the floor. It may not even come off the floor at all. As long as we're feeling the engagement in the tie-ins from the hammies to the glutes, that's what we're working for. We just want that mind-body connection. So maybe breathing into that area, just sending your mind, your energy into those muscles, into that joint, feeling the physical body. So we're going to breathe for 5 pulses as we lift the right heel up. And last one. Now same thing with the right knee, lifting it up, holding at that apex just for a moment so that we're not rushing through. We're really feeling the max range and widening it with each lift. Okay, so on the last one, we go as high as we can. And then once we can't go any further, that left knee follows us as we transition into our 90-90. Back with the right shin parallel to the front of the mat. As I said earlier, I'm going to need the whole mat for this. So just bear with me. Have some water, towel off, while I move Oscar back into his bed. I brought you your own bed, Oscar. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to go into your bed. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for those kisses. Okay, there you go. Okay, so this is the last variation of our 90-90s, and it's just building on what we've done. So, we're with our right shin parallel to the front, left to the side. We're going to lift the left knee up, transition to the other side, and as soon as we get there, the right heel lifts. Now we float ourselves back to the front, left heel lifts. Come to the back, right heel lifts. Back to the front. You've got this. 2 more. So this is 1. And last round here. Okay. Now, finding yourself back in the center of your mat. Remember frog on our back? Now we're doing the real deal. So frog, if you can remember, we had our knees above our hips, and then we opened them up, bringing the knees down towards the earth. So now that we're inverted from the position we were before, our knees are starting on the earth. We're stacking our hips over the knees, keeping the knees in alignment with the hips. We can bring our arms out or bring ourselves onto our forearms, and our knees are a little more than a 90-degree angle. So you should be able to see my ankles, the outsides of my knees. What I'm trying to say is, if you were to pull your ankles together, you'd be creating a diamond shape with your legs. We're going for the opposite of that. Now, before we really melt into the pose, I avoided this pose for many years because it was uncomfortable for my knees. So if you're feeling like that, feel free to roll your mat up, create a little more cushion. Maybe you've got some actual cushions, some actual knee pads that you want to place down. You can do that to make yourself comfortable so that you can breathe in the frequencies that you want to be cultivating. So take your time to land in your frog. And when you land, I want you to bring your awareness into your hips and into your low back, into your core. Notice if your belly is dropping down, if your tailbone is pointing up to the sky. If we create that dip in our belly, it gives us the illusion that we're coming closer to the earth, but nothing really is happening in the hips. We're just bending the spine. So try to see if we can hug the navel in to keep the low back rounded outwards, like we were before on our backs. like the back is a rocker. Okay? And as you breathe your awareness into the core, notice what you feel in the hips as you counter that dropping of the belly. Instead of just melting into the pose, find the strength, control, and the ease. Land in the part of your body that feels calm. And maybe that's not the physical body, maybe it's somewhere in the mental. Let's take 5 more of your most intentional breaths. Maybe breathing into the hips, the glutes, or anywhere that we're feeling restricted or limited. And exhaling those limitations. Deepest breath in and out. And then slowly take your time. Ooh, to get out of your frog pose. Unravel your mat if you need to. And we're going to bring ourselves into pigeon on the right. So bring that right shin parallel to the front of the mat. Left leg extends long to the back. Oscar, you are too cute. So in our pigeon, I want you to try something that I don't normally cue, because we're working on the hips today. I want you to imagine that you can push the floor away with your right heel. So with the shin that's parallel to the front of the mat, you're going to press that heel into the earth for a second and then release. And then drive the earth away with that heel and release. Engage, push away, and soften and melt towards. One more time, pushing away, being active, and the quick release. And slowly roll onto the right bum cheek, swing the left leg around, reach the hands up, and fold towards the left toes. Deepest breath in and out. And slowly come up to a vertical spine. We're going to take the left shin parallel to the front of the mat and extend the right leg to the back for our pigeon on the left. Take your time to land in your pigeon. And just as you're starting to feel relaxed, we're going to start those pulses. So press the left heel into the earth and soften. Engage as you push the floor away and relax as you melt towards it. Turn the muscles on, flip them off. Let's take 2 more, pulsing, releasing, and one more strong push, and one big softening release. Roll onto the left bum cheek and swing the right leg around. Reach the hands up and fold towards the right foot. Maybe you grab it It's not important. Just keep the connection to the earth, to your breath, and to that energy that we're cultivating, that we're building an abundance of to live in and to share. And slowly come up to a flat back. We're going to lay onto our backs, hug your knees into your chest. Just allow those knees to drop over to the right. And gaze over your left shoulder. Right hand can go on top of those left knees. And just feel the weight of the bones as the muscles soften and gravity draws the skeleton towards the earth. And slowly come back to center. Allow those knees to drop over to the left. And we'll gaze over the right shoulder. Inviting space in. And permitting yourself to move into that space. To move into that energy. Deepest breath in. Slowly come back to center. Give yourself a big squeeze. Hug yourself in tight. Give your left knee a kiss. Give your right knee a kiss. Thank your body for carrying you through this experience. And say thank you. Not to anyone or anything in particular, just thank you for this experience. We'll take waterfall, feet up to the sky, hands up to the sky. Envisioning the waterfalls as they flow the blood and energy from your fingers and your toes, down your arms and your legs, into your energetic body. Slowly bend the knees, bring your feet to the floor, and take Savasana. I'm going to leave you 2 minutes of uninterrupted silence for your corpse pose, and if you want any more than that, you can just hit the pause button, land in your peace and quiet for as long as it takes to do whatever needs to be done. Slowly, without rushing, wake up your body, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and roll out your wrists and your ankles. And take a full body stretch, pointing your toes, lifting your low back up off the mat, and then roll onto any side that feels comfortable into a fetal position, and stay in your fetal position, hugging your knees into your chest, maybe using one arm as a pillow, making yourself nice and small, embodying the namesake of the pose to soak up the significance of fetal position, a new life, fresh start. And soaking up the energy that this new experience is made up of. If you're comfortable to do it with your eyes closed, press yourself up into a seat, legs crossed or extended, doesn't matter to me. As long as you're feeling comfortable and supported, connected, and rich with the feelings, frequencies, and the energies that we've cultivated together for one another, for this world that we're living in together. Know that wherever you are with your eyes closed, you are seen. The light you are shining is felt, and your energy is so appreciated. Bring your hands to your heart center. We'll end the practice with a deep cleansing breath in and out. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. May you have kind thoughts. Bring your thumbs to your lips. May you have kind words. And bring your thumbs to your heart. May you be open to give and receive always. Come back to your third eye. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. Let's bow to each other and say namaste. Thank you so much for joining us again, or maybe for the first time. Oscar and I appreciate you so much, and we're always excited to record these weekly videos for you to help support, inspire, motivate, or whatever it is that serves you. We recently had some comments, or I should say a comment, one of the first comments I've had on our full-length videos, and I just read it yesterday, and it absolutely warmed my heart and made my day when I read the nice things that this lovely person had to say about the practice, and as well as the things that she found difficult. We were doing some pistol squats and sissy squats in this previous class, and because of this comment, I'm going to put out some videos that are going to show how to build strength to get into a sissy squat, how to deepen your pistol squat. So with that in mind, if there's anything that we cover in any class that you do with me that you want a little more light shed on, if you want it broken down or explained in greater detail, comment. Let me know what you're having difficulty with, what you want some more instruction with, or if there's something that you just absolutely love and you want to make sure that it's in every practice so that you can do it over and over again because it empowers you. Let me know. We are here for you. Hey, Oscar, anything else to say? He says he's hungry, but that's unrelated, eh, Oscar? We do appreciate you so much. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with us and cultivating something beautiful that we know is needed. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you next time.